What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Bat Flip, where we discuss everything baseballs. I'm Landon Raby. With me, Dylan Taylor. Guys, Tennessee has the number one team in the country unanimously, and it's hit me, but it's not hit me. Like the first time in program history, this team is ranked number one in any ranking, and all five of them have Tennessee at number one. I mean, they just took Ole Miss out to the woodshed this weekend in Mississippi, of all places, and
At
got the
their
sweep.
huge baseball park, Landon. We played in an
Oh, it's
actual park.
massive.
It's not a little league
It's
park. Yeah.
yeah, it's the biggest park known to man. I actually before we got on the show, I was looking at the dimensions, and it's the different in right field and left field's 10 feet. Tennessee's is 320, theirs is 330. Center field, it's the exact same,
It's
390.
right center is the only decent difference, isn't it? Is it 25 feet there? I remember seeing
It's
what you're
it's
talking
it's
about.
15. So
15.
left center is 360. Theirs is 365, and right center ours is 350. Theirs is still 365. So, just a huge ballpark. I mean, a great weekend from Tennessee, and I just love the drama, and I love Tennessee. Just I'm sure they used it as bulletin board material. You should, but they just kind of kept their head down and didn't let the emotions get the best of them, and just destroyed Ole Miss. I mean, from the way Ole Miss got beat on your huge home ballpark,
Polo
and
grounds.
then and then having Lane Kiffin do his shenanigans, and Dylan DeLucia after Friday night's win, kind of say the things he did. I mean, it was embarrassing for Ole Miss. I felt embarrassed for them to have that number one by your name and play and act like that. Hate to say you deserve it, but you deserved it.
Things played out how they should have. I mean, you saw why you got a consistent or consensus number one team in the country now. I mean, no fault to Ole Miss. They just got beat by the better team and the best team in the country.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think anybody's disputing that Tennessee is for real. You can say we didn't play anybody. We have now. We're outscoring our first two SEC opponents 49-12. I mean, it's just Tennessee has the best pitching in America, but they also have the best offense in America. So Tennessee's the front runner to win a national championship. Will they do it? That's it's going to be a tough grind to get there, and there's a lot of baseball to be played. But you look at the odds, Tennessee's number one.
Yeah, I almost placed a bet on them week before last when they were plus 2,200. Would have been a nice payout. And then I got it when they were plus 1,700. Checked after this series and they're plus 1,000. I think it was us in Texas at the top. So I cashed in at just the right time. Hopefully the boys can pad the old bank account a little bit.
Yeah, I think Joe, who does more important issues with us, he got a bet for, I think it was 3,300 plus
Was that before the
3,300.
season?
I think it was maybe right after Iona or something. So
That just shows how quickly you've climbed too, from plus 3,300 there to the being second from the odds on favorite. I mean, plus 1,000.
I think it's
now.
plus 1,000. I was about to say 950 or something like that. So yeah, pretty insane. I mean, what did you think about the drama kind of in the series before it? Even Mike Rooney on D1 Baseball was calling Lindsey Nelson and Williamsport and how big Swayze Field is, and hostile environment. You got to watch it. Two true freshmen starting pitching wise. You got true freshmen in your lineup. So how do you think Tennessee handled it, and what did you think about the kind of drama there?
This may be a testament to the way that they handled it, but I didn't think there was much drama in the series. I mean, it all seemed like it was more of the lead up, and I mean, you had a little bit in the last game, in the last 6 outs of baseball, but the previous two games and almost all of the third game, there was no drama. So I mean, you've got the writers from Baseball America that claim that all of our hits are just irrelevant because we play at a park that's what we say, 15 foot shorter in right center field. But
Yeah.
last I checked, Luke Lipsius hit one that didn't stay in the park out there. So during the series, I didn't think there was any drama. So I think it was probably built up to be one of the marquee series of the year in the SEC, but Tony Vitello and the boys made sure that it didn't play out that way. So that was good for our squad.
Yeah, and I talked about this last night on More Important Issues. Just, one of the first things you do as a college athlete is you have a meeting about talking to the media. And one of the first lessons they teach you in that is don't give another team any kind of bulletin board material. You can respect them and, even say that we didn't play that great. We need to play better tomorrow, something like that. But to say that we took them lightly, we didn't think they could hit it out, so we threw it in there. They hit it out. We'll win tomorrow. I mean, you think the personality that's on this Tennessee roster, you think they didn't circle that real quick? I'll just read the quote from Dylan DeLucia after that Friday night. He said, "We took them lightly. It won't happen again. We will win tomorrow. I'll tell you that. It's one of those things where they play in a small field. We have a bigger field, so we thought we could throw it into them. It didn't work out. We missed some spots, and that's why they ended up hitting the home runs. Tomorrow will be a lot better."
What was he thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was thinking, like, I'm not going to pitch again, so it doesn't matter to me. But, dude, you got 2 more games, and you just got beat 12-1 with a number 1 beside your name.
He decided to put it squarely on the rest of the bullpen. But
yeah, you just threw a freaking meatball, and Tennessee knocked it out of the park again. They hit a Luke Lipsius, that ball he hit Friday night to right field. Oh, my God.
I don't know how you watch Tennessee for the last 3 years now, and Tony Vitello coaching this team for the last 3 years now, and think that it's a good idea to say something like that. I don't know where that comes across as a good idea. I don't know if somebody told him to say that. I don't know if that was, surely to God, it wasn't media guidance telling him to guarantee a win in the next game. So I don't know what he drew up in his head. My goodness.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I hate to see it. And I don't get, like, we thought they couldn't hit it out. Blake Burke a couple days before that hit one 444 feet. Like, did you not watch any film at all?
I'm no expert, Landon, but I think that's out in every park.
Exactly.
I don't know of one that's where that's staying.
54 feet further than dead center in Swayze Field. Incredible. I couldn't believe it.
Really scraped the top of the fence there.
It
barely got out.
Yeah, barely. But yeah, but then you go in Friday night, you have 5 home runs. Chase Burns shoved it, doing what he does. I mean, he sets a tone, is what he does. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 11 Ks, no walks. I mean, just you can't ask for a better outing from Chase Burns in a true fresh in his first start in an away park. They played at Minute Maid, but it still wasn't a true road game. So for him to get that start in a hostile environment where they seed 11,000 plus in Swayze Field, the kid's a pro. It didn't bother him one bit.
And he did it with the mental block that was apparently there too, of knowing that his offense wasn't going to score for him. If you listen to people talk about the park, I mean, imagine going in there and pitching and knowing that your team's not going to score for you too. That's even more pressure. So I don't know how the kid.
Ole Miss had 8 outfielders. I mean, it was insane. But yeah, like Saturday just jumped all over John Gaddis. He was out in the second inning. He scored 6 in that second inning, and don't really look back from there because you got a freshman phenom on the mound that's just mowing down one of the top offenses in the country. And Saturday, they score 4 runs in those 2 games. If Tim Elko isn't on Ole Miss's team, they have 1 run as a team in those 2 games.
Yeah, he had the 2-run shot. Was that the Saturday game? And then a solo shot as well. Yeah, I mean, He was the Ole Miss offense.
Yeah. Jared Dickey had 2 home runs on Friday night. I mean, they just the little league ballpark. They absolutely, they crushed the ball and they crushed that saying. I don't think anybody's debating that Tennessee can hit it out anywhere. Apparently, they didn't watch the Shriners showcase there. So
in an actual major league park.
Yeah. They didn't watch Drew Gilbert in the regional last year hit 800 feet. Yeah, you love to see it. But then you come in Saturday, you have 17 hits. You don't hit a single home run. So you prove you can play small ball. You can hit the ball. I think we had a sac fly, a sac bunt, 5 stolen bases. So we can play that small ball too. But if you're going to miss your spots, we're going to make you pay for it.
Turns out that you can score runs without home runs. It's a
Tennessee
novel
can, because apparently they couldn't before.
Yeah, if you're not going against the Tony Vitello squad, you can.
Right. So you had 6 players on Saturday that had multiple hits. Drew Gilbert and Trey Lipscomb had 3 apiece, and then Chase Dolander, SEC pitcher of the week, shoving it.
Burns freshman of the week too, right?
Yep, Burns SEC freshman of the week. With his performance, Chase Dolander SEC pitcher of the week. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, 10 Ks, no runs. I mean, Tennessee didn't really even have to do much offensively.
Dolander hanging out at 99 miles an hour too in the late innings. It looked like. I mean, that's what we've talked about, not dropping velocity throughout the game. I know it got mentioned on the broadcast with Drew Beam too, but the whole rotation, especially out of 2 freshmen, and Dolander's a sophomore.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, they're just sitting. You mentioned sitting 90. He's probably high 90, 97, 98 is what he's sitting at. Chase Burns probably around the same, 95, 96, and then Drew Beam, he hit 94 on the gun. Late. In that 8th inning on Sunday. So I mean, I'd like to see a better starting rotation than what Tennessee has, and I mean, you're not going to find it. And these guys, like you said, are underclassmen.
Yeah, and we hear that another underclassman, the ace of this rotation, was available to go Sunday if you needed him. I mean, I didn't expect to see him. I don't think we'll probably see him until. I mean, I don't even know if you see him this weekend or not. It sounds like he's working his way back into it though. But we talked about it before. Who are you taking out of the rotation? I still say it's Drew Beam, but part
of me is like, it's got to be Drew Beam, and Drew Beam, he had a great kind of answer to the question. I think on Sunday it was just like, hey, if they need me to take another role, I'm happy to do it. Just that attitude of this entire team. It's like it doesn't matter. Like they're so unselfish with one another. They root for one another, even though they're competing for spots and playing time. They just want to win, and that's what makes them so great.
And you should have all of them coming back next year too. Don't want to start talking about next year already, but
yeah, I think Blade is draft eligible, so he probably is gone just due to age. But I think the rest of them are back. Like you said, Drew Beam started off Sunday the way he did against South Carolina and just continues his tear on the SEC with 7 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 Ks. Tennessee combined for 27 Ks between the 3 starters and 1 walk, 8 hits. That's insane.
The 1 walk really sticks out there because you wonder going into SEC play in a park that normally is one of the best environments, and nobody got rattled.
Yep.
Not 1 walk. That's it.
27 innings, Tennessee gave up 2 walks.
With 2 freshmen. I just keep saying the same thing over and over because that's how crazy it is.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, Tennessee has a major league lineup, pitching-wise and batting-wise. I mean, it's...
And the pen.
I mean, just what a job from Tony Vitello. I mean, this program was laughable before he took over. They weren't even making it to Hoover.
Already tied for third in career wins with Dave Serrano. Did I see that stat?
I think it's probably close.
That may have been before Sunday. He may have passed him on the win Sunday. I'd have to double check, but I know I saw that he was
I don't know
right there.
if we can see the chat. I don't know if I can see it. I don't know how you see it. I'm new to this whole producing thing. So if y'all have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. I know Callum probably has that stat somewhere. He's always, tweeting out how, because he just got like in fourth, like sole possession of fourth not too long ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got to be close to Serrano. So we'll see about that. If he has that, feel free to drop that in the chat. I'll be happy to give you credit for that. Yeah, Drew Beam. Yeah, again, like what would you do? Blade Tidwell comes back. What would you do?
I mean, it's got to be Drew Beam, but it's what I was starting to say a minute ago. I don't know how you look him in the eyes and say.
But do you move everybody back one, or do you just throw him on Sunday?
The way it sits right now, I would go Blade Sunday. Yeah, just I wouldn't move Dolander out of the Saturday spot just because to me the first and the third game are the most important because you drop the one in the middle, you still got the third one to take the series. I would want Blade on the third one right there. Maybe swap Burns and Dolander, but I would just sub in. I would sub in Blade right there.
Isn't it insane that a first rounder probably next year in the draft is going to pitch on Sunday for Tennessee? If that's how it is, that's
insane,
unbelievable. But yeah, what a job from Drew Beam. Even if he does, go to midweek games, you're still going to need those guys. Like Tennessee could have used a true starter in Hoover in a regional. When you get to Omaha, super regional, like you're going to have to play some of those games where like it doesn't line up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're going to have to spread the wealth a little bit. And Tennessee's got, Halverson's on his way back too. Xander Sechrist is pitching well. I mean, it's just a really good problem to have right now for Tennessee and Frank Anderson and Tony Vitello.
Yeah, Caleb just said he is tied with Serrano. So what a quick jump up to number 3. I mean, he's got a long way to go for number 1 still, but at this pace, he should be there in a couple weeks, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, Sunday going back to that game a little bit. You're up 4-0. Gilbert's triple in the 4th. Trey Lipscomb drives in a run with a ground out, and then Luke Lipsius in the 6th hits a double to bring in Lipscomb. And they made it interesting. Get a 3-run home run off Camden Sewell right after they take out Drew Beam, and then Redmond Walsh comes in there like a freaking boss and slams the door right in Ole Miss's face. Oh, like you can sniff that win? Boom, get out.
And he
slapped him like Will Smith slapped Chris Rock last night.
Pop culture here on the show.
Exactly.
Perfect time to pull it. But I was thinking it after the win Sunday was final. Camden Sewell has been one of the most consistent guys for you out of the bullpen. How nice is it that he has? That may be the most uncomfortable he's looked in a Tennessee uniform since I've really seen him start working.
Yeah.
How nice is it that he has one of his worst outings and just doesn't look comfortable and you still get a win? Like we're used to seeing him work quick, but he just never looked comfortable up there. You could tell he was having trouble finding the zone. The one he gave up was a moonshot. But you can do all that and you still win. Like that. Yep. That just speaks to the mentality of the team.
Yeah, and props for Redmond Walsh. I mean, Tony Vitello makes a change with a 3-2 count. Redmond Walsh comes in, gets a strikeout, it gets past the catcher, so the guy ends up getting on base, but he gets out of that inning. And then the 9th inning, gives up a leadoff single. You get 2 outs. Ortega kind of boots a ball, and then he gets that huge strikeout to just end things for Ole Miss. Again, they were kind of sniffing that win again, and full on Will Smith.
Full on Will Smith, Prince of Shirts.
Print the shirts. Yeah. What do you think about Tennessee's kind of bullpen right now? Do you like how it's going? Do you like it's kind of a mix of guys. McLaughlin, it's Kirby, it's Joyce, Red. I mean, you got a ton of options there.
I think the only thing I still want to see is just like the established order of like, and I mean, there's never going to be a definite order of this guy's seventh, this guy's eighth, this guy's ninth. But I'd like to see like, okay, who's the guy that when you're in this situation, this guy comes in. If that makes sense, because
Mhm.
I mean, Ben Joyce, I don't has he closed a game this year, but his stuff is closer stuff. So that's crazy. But you get Redmond Walsh coming out of the ninth. There's so many guys that can do so many different things that maybe we won't ever actually see a establish this person here. Maybe that's the way Tony wants it. But I would kind of like to see like who can you trust in a tight situation. We know Redmond Walsh, obviously. We don't know that with Ben Joyce yet because he's been throwing heat when we've been up by a lot of runs. So we saw Elko hit a bomb off of him, which when you're throwing that hard, all you really have to do is make contact and it's going to go
Throw a
somewhere.
barrel at it.
Yeah. So I love the bullpen situation. I'm interested to see how it pans out, just who takes what role.
Yeah, Ben Joyce did, like you said, we're up by a lot of runs, but he did finish that South Carolina game on Sunday when he went in the ninth inning up 10-0.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's I don't know if you call it a save. I don't know if that's a closer role, but he did finish. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt at that point. Weakness with Tennessee. We've talked about them having base runners. It's a lot easy when your starting pitching's only giving up 8 hits. I think they got 12 on the on the entire weekend. Like they're not getting the opportunity to steal bases.
Yeah.
And then, so I think my weakness has kind of shifted. I think it's fielding a little bit. And I think there's some great fielders on this team. I think Cortland Lawson's one. I think Luke is a great first baseman. But, man, 2 outs in the ninth, you can't boot a ground ball.
Yeah.
You can't let a ball go into your glove at third base. Like, that stuff just can't happen. And I'm nitpicking a little bit because Tennessee swept number 1 Ole Miss. Like, it happened. But that's one. If I'm nitpicking a little bit, I think fielding needs to improve a little bit. I don't like the errors because I feel like at some point that could cost you a ball game.
We talked about it the week before. That's what I was about to say. It was the week before, 2 weeks before. We were talking about getting into SEC play. There are going to be plays that you've got to make. Luckily, Redmond Walsh does what Redmond Walsh does, and it winds up not hurting you. But there's going to be a time where you've got to make a play like that. And at this point, you can't really blame it on early season rust anymore. And I know we're nitpicking, so we're 22-1 on the year, so it obviously hasn't burned us yet.
23-1.
23-1. But now it's
we got to get all the wins count.
All of them, even in this park,
Yeah.
even at Lindsey Nelson, they still count. But yeah, it's just at some point you got to buckle down and you got to make that play for Jarrell Ortega, and he's made plays all year, so I've got no doubts that he'll bounce back from it. But you can't have those against Vanderbilt, and you can't have those against Arkansas.
Yeah, so Tennessee's back this week. Wednesday they'll play Western Carolina at 5:30 in Williamsport, a.k.a. Lindsey Nelson Stadium. And then this weekend going to Nashville. Broadcast-wise, being there as a fan, however you're listening to the game, I think you should probably listen to it on the radio, maybe watch it and turn the volume down because you're going to hear the Vandy Whistler. And it's going to be annoying, and it's probably going to make you want to jump out of an airplane without a parachute.
Landon, I'm going to be honest with you. I had forgotten about that. I thought you were talking about wanting to turn it down because of the Ole Miss broadcasters this past weekend. Anytime Tennessee did anything positive, it sounded like you had shot their dog in front of them. It sounded like a library almost.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Was it Luke's home run that just like?
yeah,
I mean, they didn't even hide it.
it was his. It was his, and I think it was Jared Dickey's second one. It could be they're both the lefty
Okay.
swings. I could be thinking both of them. But yeah, it
Gotcha.
was just. I mean, I get it. I would probably be like that, but I'm not a professional broadcaster. Like
Right.
that, I get you don't like what happened, but at least have some pep in your voice a little bit. Like try to hide it at least. I mean, but yeah, you just reminded me of my old friend, the bandy whistler,
Yeah.
possibly the most annoying human being on the face of this planet.
Are you going to be able to get tickets to the game? Can out kick hook you up a little bit?
I don't know if I want him if the bandy whistler is going to be.
Good point. Yeah, you might have to wear these right here or something like
Yeah.
that. Some noise canceling headphones.
It'll be down the road. I'll take one of the bird scooters over there.
There you go. It's probably cheaper just to buy like a hotel at the Marriott and watch it from somewhere,
Probably. Yeah.
or try
Honestly
to.
is.
I don't. I know that you can see the football field from the Marriott. I don't know if you can see the baseball field. But yeah, it might be cheaper to do that. I saw where the lowest ticket's like $500.
You could probably still hear the whistle from Margaritaville if I was guessing.
It's probably true.
I'd say you could hear it.
So you're gonna be turning up at Kid Rock's bar,
Oh yeah,
Jason
that's
Aldean's, or
the spot.
which one you going to?
We hop around.
Okay,
There's no
gotcha.
definite one.
Gotcha.
Tony's
Legends.
going to call us and let us know.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, Vanderbilt's a really good team. They lost. I mean that win over South Carolina is looking better and better after they beat Texas. They beat Vanderbilt this past weekend, took 2 of 3, and then I mean Vanderbilt's got a really good team. Enrique Bradfield's good. They got Dominique Keegan, who is one of the best hitters in college baseball. They're going to have pitchers every single year. They're just going to reload. I don't care if Rocker and Lauder are gone. I mean, that's, maybe from velocity standpoint, that's better. But, these guys are going to be good too. And I think it's going to be difficult, especially if you let Enrique Bradfield on base. I mean, he's probably swapping second and third, just like Seth Stevenson is for Tennessee.
Yeah, I have no doubts that Vandy's going to bounce back. You hope it's not this week, and that's why. I mean, I was glad South Carolina beat them, but I was kind of like, man, that could have been the week after we played them because, I mean, they're a well-coached team. Like, as much as we hate on Vanderbilt, like, Vanderbilt baseball has been Vanderbilt baseball for a while now, so you know they're going to bounce back, but it's going to be a good test this weekend. I mean, I was going to say a good road test, but you just went on the road and proved that you can play on the road, so
it must be nice to have all their players on full scholarship.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Vandy. Oh my God.
Yeah, they suck.
Hopefully they show up and actually want to play because I mean Ole Miss didn't. They just didn't want to play this weekend. We'll come out tomorrow and ready to play, and then we'll come out tomorrow and ready to play. We weren't today, and that was the whole series. So I guess they assumed the series started Monday.
Yeah, they were just ready for the midweek game.
It's that daylight savings, the pesky daylight savings time. They got the game times mixed up.
It's different in Mississippi. They just don't get it. And you're talking about the two guys that were, I guess, Vanderbilt Ole Miss fans that were doing the broadcast. I mean, I'm sure it's probably hard to find some people in Mississippi that can hold a conversation about baseball. So,
can they read a clock down there?
That's a good point.
I don't know anybody from Mississippi, so that's why I'm talking a little out of turn there. But.
There's some good ones. I don't know in Oxford. Those people that were wearing loafers and collared shirts were ready for those beer showers, but didn't get a lot of opportunities to do that this weekend.
No, one sad attempt with 3 of the fans.
Right.
That was I think that was the only one. Well, there was the one Sunday, but yeah, before that there was the one late in the game where the crowd started to head out middle of the
like the 6th inning.
They were the only 3 left out there.
Yeah. MVP. Who you got?
I knew you were going to ask, and I still don't have an answer. I'm going the entire pitching rotation. I'm going Chase Burns, Dolander, and Beam, because how do you pick one out of all of them?
That's a good
Because
point.
after
You
Chase
could just
Burns
go
to start,
Frank Anderson. That's who I was going to say. If you weren't going to go pitching, I was going to go Frank Anderson, but I'll be a little bit different just because. But yeah, what a weekend for that pitching staff.
I mean,
Again, that starting pitching, 27 strikeouts, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk. That's again number 1 team in the country, one of the top offenses in the country, and you just sat them down.
after Friday, I was like, okay, Burns is my MVP for the show Monday. Then after Saturday, I was like, no, it's Dolander now. And then after Sunday, it's Beam. I'm like, you can look at each one and say this one does this a little bit better. This one does this a little bit better. Because, I mean, if you're going off just pure stuff, it may be Burns, honestly. I mean, Dolander's filthy. But if you're going off mindset, I don't know how it's not Drew Beam. I mean, just the dog mentality. I don't know how it's not him so far. So you try to.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have like the velocity that the other 2 guys have, but he's just so smooth to the plate, and like I think it's hard to. I don't know. There's just something about him that like people can't hit him, and he's not getting he's not getting the multiple strikeouts and stuff like that. But he's so athletic, and like I mean, you get soared after check swing after check swing, ground like rolling over on it. You get a pop fly in the infield. I mean, it's fun to watch, and I'm sure it's fun for the infield. They get to play a little bit. Whereas Burns and Dolander, they kind of just sit back and relax for an inning. But yeah, I mean, what a performance from all 3 of those guys. And I think you see Burns shove it the way he does. I think they're both like, oh man, I got to go out there and perform too, or I'm going to look like crap.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all 3 kind of like, I don't want to lose my spot when Blade Tidwell or Seth Halverson comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I try to sit here and pick individual qualities that set them apart, but I see a little bit of all of it in each of them. But it's just, yeah, I couldn't. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, which one had the best start? I still want to say it was Burns, maybe, just because it's the first game setting the tone like that. But he had 12 runs. So then I go back to Beam, where he was, you're up, but you're never really up by a lot. So that brings in more the mentality part of it. So give me all 3 of them.
Yeah. I'll go a little bit different. I'll go Drew Gilbert. I think he made a ton of plays in center field. Balls that look like they're in the gap. He made it look easy. Then he was 5 for 11 this weekend, 4 RBIs. He had that big triple on Sunday that, if that doesn't happen, I feel like we get later in that game, things get more interesting. So yeah, I just thought, his mentality was great. It's good to see him not only be back, like he was last weekend, but it just seems like he's cleanup, and he has like the least amount of home runs out of everybody in the lineup. But you have Jared Dickey, who has like 7. That's our leadoff guy.
There's really not any shame in having the least home runs in this lineup, because how are you passing Trey Lipscomb with the most when he's already in double digits? I mean, my goodness,
you're not catching him. And I think he's already at 40 RBIs, and he had a really good weekend as well. I thought Lipscomb did. I think he had 6 RBIs on the weekend, so I could have picked him too. I think he was 4 for 12, so batting around 300, and had 6 RBIs. So yeah, just doing what he does. I feel like every time that he hit the ball, whether he was getting out or on base, it was driving in a run. Doing your job. That's what you got to do. But yeah, I'm gonna go Drew Gilbert. He's growing out the stash a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that. He's always had the eye black, but he's growing out the stash since he got hurt. So, maybe there's a little, rub it a little bit for good luck. Or is it just a broom? Is it just a lip broom?
Whatever it is, keep it
right now.
Because if I would have picked offensive, he would have been my pick for the weekend, just because it's bad to say, but I didn't want to give it to Trey just because we've seen it so much from him now. I don't want the rest of the guys to get jealous. So.
Yeah, is Trey still your greatest player of all time?
Till he proves otherwise, he is.
I like it. So Jared Dickey did get He's out right now with a foot injury. Looks like it was just running to second base and kind of apparently it's been lingering. They thought it was like a shin or something, but apparently it's his foot. So don't know exactly how long he's out. The good thing about this lineup, and you want to get him back because he is such a big part of this offense, and I think he's improved a lot in left field as well. But you have so many guys that can come in and play. Seth Stevenson, I thought he had a great weekend. I think he had 3 hits on Saturday and maybe 3 more on Sunday. Didn't play on Friday, but had 2 really good games in there. Stole 2 bases on Saturday night. So, I mean, you have guys that can come in. Christian Scott, Christian Moore, Blake Burke hit a bomb this weekend. So, I mean, you have guys that can come in. I think you'll probably see Seth Stevenson take over at left field, and then your DH will probably be Moore, Scott, or Blake Burke, in my opinion.
It's crazy to think that Blake Burke has made the impact that he has so far. I was just because I was thinking about before the year when we kind of picked our breakout candidates, and mine was Chambers, and now he's probably through no fault of his own, really just kind of disappeared right now with just all the other guys that have stepped up around him. But back to Dickey, yeah, I mean, if we were giving out awards right now, what are we? Quarter of the way, a little past a quarter of the way. I mean, Jared Dickey's the most important player on this team because he's provided there's been no drop off from him, from Liam Spence to him in the leadoff role, which was the biggest question mark I had this year. And he's done even better, which I thought wasn't possible. But I mean, that's why to me you got to get him back quick because he's been the most important player by far this year.
Yeah, that's a great point. It'll be interesting to see how they play that. We'll keep up with that and see kind of where he's at. Should be getting some flamethrowers back in this rotation here pretty soon. We'll see how they're used. But it sounds like they're going to come out of the bullpen first. It seems like Tony Vitello kind of mentioned that on Sunday that they're working their way back. He was ready to go in the 9th if Redmond got in any more trouble, but didn't even have to use him.
Yeah, a wealth of arms.
Right. But that's all we got. Do you have anything else?
All good here. Number 1.
Number 1, baby. Feels good. And I wore the orange jersey just because they were released today. It's not a shot at anybody that didn't get one.
Yeah, you wanted the flags. We know what it was.
It's just celebrating the people who did get one. So if you did, great. Guys, thanks for listening. We'll be back next Monday, hopefully talking about, another sweep over Vanderbilt would be fantastic. I'll do the whole I'll do a handlebar beard.
What would that be? 9-0 in the SEC?
Yeah. It'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it?
A handlebar? Okay. I think
or like what do they call them? What's the chop thing? The mutton chops?
Mutton chops or Fu Manchu?
Yeah, I'll do something kind of weird if we end up sweeping Vanderbilt. That'd be great.
I put your body on the line for the team line.
There you go. Yeah, always. I'll take a 100-mile-an-hour fastball to the arm if that's what it takes.
You're a braver man than I.
Actually, that's not true. I've been like in the 4th row from Ben Joyce, and I don't want any part of that. So
I'll step out of the box.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for listening again. We'll be back on Monday. Peace.